He took the explosion shrapnel to protect the alien girl, then woke surrounded by elite warriors. The dust hadn't even settled when the silence fell. It was the kind of silence born after chaos, the kind that buzzes in your ears and sits heavy on your chest. Lieutenant Aaron Vale lay half-aware in the ruins. The scent of scorched metal and smoke caught on his armor. His breaths came ragged, each inhale dragging the grit of the battlefield deep into his lungs. In his arms was a girl. He had thrown himself over her when the charge blew. Her skin was violet, her hair like green crystal, faintly glowing even beneath the dust coating them both. She was shaking but alive. Her name was Saren. He'd learned it only hours earlier, spoken in a fractured whisper as she begged him to stop the soldiers from burning her village. She wasn't human. She wasn't supposed to matter to him. But something in her eyes, gentle, frightened, carrying the same weary sorrow he'd felt since Earth's wars, had made him decide otherwise. The shrapnel had torn through his side, shoulder and neck. He felt the warmth of his blood seep into the sand. And still, as he held her, as her violet fingers clung weakly to his sleeve, he felt peace, an unfamiliar peace he hadn't known since before the battles that took his brothers, his friends, his home. Light flickered above them. Through a shattered archway, two tall shapes appeared through the smoke. Creatures unlike any he'd seen before. They were slender, radiant, almost fluid in motion, elite fighters of her race. He'd heard rumors of them, ancient guardians who lived centuries, carrying the memory of entire worlds in their minds. Saren stirred in his arms and opened her eyes. They glowed softly, reflecting the dim light bleeding through the ruins. "You shouldn't have stayed," she whispered, her voice fragile but steady. Aaron managed a tired grin. "Wouldn't leave. You guess I'm stubborn like that." Her hand trembled as she touched his face, smearing dust across his cheek. "You took the blast for me. Didn't have time to think," he said, though he had for a heartbeat when he saw the device fall. He saw her not as an alien but as someone terrified and innocent in a war neither of them wanted. The tall warriors approached, their steps silent, their pale skin catching faint sunlight. Aaron tensed, old instincts flickering. "Alive." Saren brushed his arm gently. "They're my people," she murmured. "They won't harm you." But her voice held a shadow of doubt. Her world had endured centuries of human occupation, extraction, control, conquest. Mercy wasn't a familiar idea here. The two warriors halted before them. One knelt, eyes glowing like molten metal. He checked Aaron's wounds without emotion and spoke in a tongue Aaron couldn't understand. Saren answered softly, her words smooth and melodic. When she looked back at him, her expression had shifted, something like sorrow mixed with wonder. "They said you should be dead," she whispered. "No human survives that much shrapnel, but they'll help you." Aaron tried to object, but pain blurred his sight. His world dimmed until all he felt was her hand pressed against his chest. Then everything faded. When he opened his eyes, the air smelled clean. Machines hummed softly. Around him, a steady pulse that reminded him of old field hospitals, only calmer. The ceiling above shimmered with faint patterns like reflections on water. A half-circle of figures stood around him, tall and armored in sleek metallic threads glowing pale blue. Their eyes studied him with quiet precision. Saren stood at the front. Her violet skin seemed brighter here, untouched by ash, her long hair falling free over her shoulders. "You're awake," she said, relief warming her voice. He tried sitting up, but his muscles felt leaden. "Where am I?" You're in the inner
Sanctum, she replied.
the heart of our world. No human has ever entered it. He blinked, absorbing that. So I made history. Her lips curved faintly. You changed it. One warrior stepped forward, a commander by the elaborate markings on his armor. His voice was deep and steady. Human soldier, you carry our enemy's wounds, yet you shielded one of our own. We do not grasp this. Aaron met his gaze. Don't
Need to.
sometimes you just do what
Feels right.
the commander tilted his head, then stepped back. Saren moved closer, thoughtful. They healed you with our devices, but they want to know why you protected me. Why risk yourself for someone from a race at war with yours?
Aaron looked at his hands.
His scars were gone, replaced by faint, glowing lines where their nanites had mended him. Because I've seen enough war to know it never ends unless someone stops it. Maybe it isn't about
Sides.
maybe it's about people.
She
Held his gaze, then gently placed her hand over his.
My people forgot that.
Long ago, in the days that followed, Erin learned her world's stories. Ruins that once rang with bright music, desert cities turned to glass, fragile. Hope hidden in secret places.
He saw.
Saren laughed for the first time since the explosion, a light, musical sound that echoed off the chamber walls.
And
In that laughter, something stirred inside him as well. But peace is easily
broken.
Word arrived that human ships had entered orbit. The same leaders who sent Aaron's unit were preparing another assault. Saren found him sitting by a glowing pool that reflected the stars. They'll destroy this place, she whispered. Even if they know you're here. He looked up at her. Then let me speak to them. Maybe they will listen. They won't. Then I'll make them. At dawn, he stood before the alien council. The commander watched him as if weighing ages of conflict in his decision. You wish to speak for us? The commander asked. Aaron nodded. I'll speak for what's right. They gave him a small silver craft guided by their energy systems. Saren insisted on joining him. When the ship rose through the atmosphere, Earth's fleet spread before them like a constellation of steel. His console lit up.
Human voices. Barked commands.
Aaron Vale, identify yourself. He inhaled slowly. This is Lieutenant Vale. I'm returning with someone you must meet. Static crackled. You're off mission, Lieutenant.
Stand. Down.
He looked at Saren, her eyes full of quiet resolve. Not this time, he said softly. The fleet opened fire, but not on them, on each other. The chain of command splintered, confusion sweeping the ranks. Some recognized his voice, remembered his legacy, hesitated. Others refused to fight at all. By the time he returned to the surface, the shooting had stopped. Weeks passed.
The
war ended, not with a treaty, but with exhaustion, and the unlikely tale of a soldier who chose compassion over orders. The name Aaron Vale became a whisper across both worlds, a symbol of what rises when bravery meets empathy.